Testing, testing, testing. Okay, microphone is on. Last time it wasn't. Make sure. I don't know why. There we go. I think we're good now. Good morning, good morning, good morning all. Welcome to the morning note. Testing, testing, testing. Okay, I believe the mic is on. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It is 9:01 Eastern Standard Time, September 16th, 2021 on a Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Welcome to our morning note. We do this every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, answering questions, talking about the market. It's always a fun thing to do. Let's go ahead and talk about it, shall we? Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, little white square. That's our logo. Click on that. Subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. And also like our videos, comment any questions. Really do appreciate it as always. Thank you for your support as always. We're nearly 8,000 subscribers. Pretty badass. The fact that you're on, I really do appreciate that. And again, I apologize again for the mic issue, but it's working now, obviously. Yes, Fabian says that he can hear me. Important. Thank you, man. Okay, Dow futures down 30 points. NASDAQ futures down 37. S&P futures down 3. Russell 2000 futures are exactly flat. Crude oil futures down 0.67% at 72.13 a barrel. Gold futures are down 1.91% at 17.16 ounce. 23.02 for silver futures. They're getting hit today, down 3.2%. The 10-year yield is up 1.34%. Again, I expect yields to go up. I'm very lucky that I locked in my mortgage rate. I refinanced my house, my mortgage. Not a cash out, just a straight rate decrease. And I got a sub 3%, 2.87. I got very lucky, so I don't think I'll ever get down to that level again for a 30-year. Dollar index up 0.39% at 92.90. The dollar is actually nearing resistance. If we could take a look at that pretty quickly, you're starting to see nearing a triple top, but really the resistance level is right around 93.05. Again, the dollar affects commodities and also affects crypto. VIX is up 2.31% at 1860 currently. Looking at euro dollar down 62 pips at 117.53, 109.70 for the dollar yen, 34 pips. Ethereum is up 2.5%, 36.33. Bitcoin futures 48,125. Again, still holding my crypto. No issues there. I mean, I'm still waiting for December to sell. Again, let's see if we get to 100,000 on Bitcoin. That's my target. May go a little higher, but 100K doesn't sound too bad, does it? Okay, so big news today was retail sales. United States retail sales actually beat. Month over month was up 0.7% versus a 0.7% decline. Retail sales excluding autos, month over month, up 1.8% versus 0.0 expectations. So you could see, again, I'm reading on Twitter now, that did beat. Unemployment claims, our initial jobless claims, 332,000. Forecast was 321,500. So that was more than expected. Continued jobless claims, actual 2.665 million. The forecast was 2.74 million, and the previous was 2.783 million. So we're starting to see a little bit of a pullback in terms of continued claims, not initial claims, which is reported every Thursday. So that's where we are. Real quick, I went ahead and did last night, Aftermarket Recap. I'm sure you guys took a look at it. And I also posted my P&L for the last 2 weeks. Pretty ugly. But again, I want it to be as open as possible, as transparent as possible. The last 2 weeks have been absolutely brutal. But again, it does meet my 1% requirement in terms, 1 to 4% in terms of my risk tolerance. So, I didn't blow up my account or anything, of course not. But again, is it ugly? Yes. Is it brutal to deal with? Yes. But will we come back better and stronger for it? Absolutely. This is not my first time I've had a tough streak, but we always come back and always come back stronger for it. So again, I wanted to show you guys personally my P&L, which was very ugly to see, but I thought it was very important to post just for the simple fact that, you know what, this shows that this isn't easy and we don't get it right all the time. And the last couple of weeks have been absolutely brutal. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys again if you didn't see it on the actual, on Instagram. Here, I'll show you real quick and then we'll get to the technical side here. Let's see, September. September 1. Here we go. And you can see September 1 down 14,160 for the year. I mean, for the September, just so far. If we go to January, you could see 34,667 profit. So not terrible. That's great. I'm still up for the year, but for the most part, I'm still down for September. So again, you can see it here, 34,667 profit for the year, but September down 14,160. Ugly, 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 but we'll make it back. Have no fear. It does take time. So I do have E-mini futures short. I do have SPY puts. We did get a rise yesterday, even on low volume, but we are still below resistance of 44.80 on S&P futures. And you can see the downward trend, even with a strong retail sales report. We do have OPEX tomorrow and triple witching. Keep that in mind. So I expect a little more weakness towards the end of the week and possibly next week. Again, this may look like a bull trap. I mean, it's really in limbo here because all we're doing is rejecting that top of the channel. For all we know, we can get back down to around 44.26 in the blink of an eye, possibly today, if not tomorrow, or we can break above 44.80. If 44.80 does break, 44.90 is your 200-day, then the worst could be over. But in my position here, what I'm seeing here, obviously I puts, this is why I'm holding them. I think that we still have a little more downside. We may hit the worst case support in the middle of October is 4,400 at worst. Maybe worst case scenario 43.47. And again, on the daily, we're still right at that 50-day moving average so far. So let's just keep that in the back of our heads. Good morning. Yes, thanks, Greg. I'm doing well. Thank you. Let's take a look. Chris is asking about Boeing, Docu, and Palantir. So let's take a look at it. Boeing, we're going to go ahead and, again, all the questions, unless you specify otherwise, I'm going to say it as a trade. Boeing, I have an alert above 218. I want to go ahead and break that level first. You can also take a look at above the 200-day. But again, Boeing is extremely, extremely volatile, especially intraday. So 218 could get us out of that funk. 209 is your support. So put an alert at 209.85 for a breakdown, or 209.90. If that breaks, then you could possibly take a look at the 205 puts. But I'm not salivating over Boeing. Take a look at Docu. Docu, haven't really much traded this name, but again, it's a great company to own. 273 right now, holding the 50-day moving average on the hourly. Excuse me. Not much doing here. I would say 282 break for calls, if anything, which is your 100-day moving average. You can possibly target 290, which is your next resistance. If you break down below 263, then you could possibly do puts. You bring up the daily on DocuSign. You could see a nice pop to the yearly highs right around mid-August, and then we just fell. But it looks like the 100-day moving average seems to be that support level of 260.87. So again, if you wanted to buy more shares here, that's not a bad idea. Maybe just wait for 260, 265, and you can go ahead and do that. Let's take a look at Palantir. Palantir here is something that I've been watching. I have an alert at 27.51. That is your resistance. If that breaks, you have a gap to fill right here at 31.23. I own shares of Palantir. I love Palantir, so I'm holding that, the shares. But 27.51 is very key. When in doubt, zoom out. There you go. We said that on the investment club. Nicely done. Thoughts on China Evergrande debt crisis? Do you think will provoke a whole market correction? I read that and I retweeted that, but there's a lot of conflicting reports. Again, it's not as big as you think in terms of reverberations across the global economy. Yes, there's some China ETFs owned by State Street or Fidelity or BlackRock or one of those names, but those funds are very small. They're very minuscule in terms of emerging markets, China being one of them, or a China ETF. You're talking about none of them have more than 10% holdings in Evergrande. And I was reading an interesting article regarding Evergrande that really majority shares is owned by 2 people. So again, when it comes to Chinese economy, it's a very hybrid system with communism and capitalism. It's so hard to kind of see the end of government and the beginning of private enterprise. Is that tough for a BABA shareholder? Yeah, you're going to have up and downs. But again, I think there's more reward because BABA is one of the largest companies on planet Earth. They are extremely profitable. And I think right now we're just hitting a rough patch in terms of China, in terms of the global economy. Obviously, we're getting out of a pandemic. But if you look at Alibaba, for example, again, we're starting to hit, yearly lows. 146.88, I'll be buying more. I want to own this company for a long time. If this even gets to 129, I'll buy some more. But again, I believe in the company myself, And again, I used to like to have some international exposure. Again, I love US equities, but at the end of the day, I don't want it to be 100% US equities either. Again, I just asked about Baba Hulk. There you go. Boss, how about Visa? Visa is a great company. I bought the dip a couple of weeks ago with the team. A breakup 221.09, I'd be owning it. What I like about Visa and MasterCard is that they're a payment processor. They don't have credit. They don't have a credit risk in terms of card issuance where they are managing the credit lines like a Capital One, which is COF, or an AXP, which is American Express, or Bank of America, or Chase. Pick any. They're just a processor. Every time you swipe a Visa, they get paid. That's what I like. And Visa, MasterCard are the two best games in town. Why not own both, if not one of them? And again, who doesn't use a credit card or a debit card anymore? Who uses cash? Not many people. Neo and Apple, let's take a look. Neo, again, Chinese issues, we know the drill. I have a break under 30 for a buy opportunity. I own it. I think electric cars are the future. I've been saying that. But again, Neo is just under some pressure. Again, any kind of Chinese headlines, they're going to take the hit. But again, you could see just ranging here. So a break under 30, definitely would buy more. But until then, I'm sitting on my hands on Neo. Apple, great company. We know this. I did not research most of the new iPhone. I'll watch the video today, if anything. But for the most part, I have an Apple Pro, 12 Pro Max. I love it. I just don't see any compelling reason to update it. So that may hurt Apple's stock a little bit. If we don't get much updates or upgrades, that'll be towards the first quarter of 2022. I love Apple. Any break below 142. Shoot, my whole IRA is Apple, so you can imagine how much I love that company, and I think they're a great one. They're bouncing off the 50-day moving average. It looks pretty familiar from E-mini futures as well, as they're bouncing off the 50. A break of around 150, 50.86 would be nice. If that breaks above, then you could target maybe 152, 153, but until here, you're not doing much. Calls on NVIDIA. Good morning, NVIDIA. I like NVIDIA, I really do. I own it, I own shares, but again, sideways action, there is nothing to do there. If you break 230, then we can have the conversation. If you break below 220, then possibly for puts. So 230, 220, a $10 range is what I'm looking for NVIDIA if you're playing calls or puts. And you're welcome. Good morning. Any thoughts on CCJ? Yeah, I own CCJ calls for unusual options activity. Again, I have the 25 calls and the 30s. The 30s have a lot of volume. The 25s have a lot of volume. I'm in the money, or I was. But these are for December, so I saw a lot of volume on CCJ. You can see just a straight away, basically up and away, 50-day moving average hold on all this here. Now we're breaking down below here, of course, but it's holding the 100. I still think CCJ has more room to go. Technically, if you bring up the daily, you could see we still have that push up here, but 26.57 is the high. Really, the only way this trade will be, I guess, invalidated was a break below 21.59. I don't see that foreseeing happening. Plus, we have until December. Why is gold dumping? Gold is dumping because of the simple fact that the dollar's up 0.41%, and we had strong retail sales. So not a lot of fear out there. Remember, gold is more of a safe haven, but again, it's been going back and forth. I have some gold coins. I tell people all the time, gold is not the greatest investment. I think Bitcoin is better than gold. But again, if you want to own some gold coins or some jewelry, that's fine by me if you want to. But this idea that gold's going to give you some kind of protection or risk-adjusted return, that's old. That's from the 80s. And again, I get it. A lot of people are from that era. Shit, I'm born in 85. I get it. But gold, guys, and silver, it's cool to own. Don't get me wrong, but don't expect a nice risk-adjusted return. Yes, it does protect your portfolio from any kind of hyperinflation or any kind of meaningful downdrafts. But even during COVID, gold was down. So it's one of those, fundamentally, it's not sound anymore. So I wouldn't be too invested into gold personally. You're welcome. Four U's, let's see. Energy Fuels Inc. I have no idea on this company. I'd have to take a look at some volume on it. But looking like a breakout here on energy, and energy is bullish. So good eye, Carmen. Let's see. IWM, I'm in puts 215 for the third week, which I believe is next week. IWM, right now you're at the 100. You have the 215. It may be a little too far out. You need to break 220 and then 218 for that to pay out. So again, I understand where you're coming from, the down channel here, the downward motion or downward setup. But again, we need the market to cooperate here. So far, the NASDAQ is down 0.33 and the Russell is basically just holding on for dear life here. Again, we had strong retail sales. You would think that the market would be up. It's not, and you can see the VIX is up 3.14. Once you start, if you break 20 on the VIX, that's when IWM will go down. Just a heads up. So that should be something on your eye. Oh, something to watch. Boss, how about that SpaceX launch yesterday? Yeah, absolutely. The SpaceX, I took photos. I posted on G.A.R Capital, also on Instagram and what have you. It was pretty dope. It was right in front of my door. Like I got outside, my wife called me, she's like, look, they're launching the space rockets. And I looked outside and it was pretty nice. So shout out to Elon Musk doing things that, you know, I mean, only dreams can come true doing that. You know, sending civilians to space. How amazing! What a great world we live in. I'm short GC and targeting 1721. What do you think? Good target? Let's see. GC. It's actually not a bad one. I think you might get that one. You might get that possibly next week. That's actually not a bad trade. 1721 is your target. I would probably move your stop right at 1730. Right there, 1730, James, is where the candle settled. Sure, we have a breakdown a little bit, but 1730 would be good. Should be next to 30 points for you if you just got in or you've been holding it for a while. But good trade. We broke that 38.2 fib on the daily, so you should see more downside. Worst case scenario, we'll get to 1700 on gold and then possibly get a buying the dip opportunity if you like gold. And thoughts on Lululemon's a great company. I had it. I sold it for some profit because I prefer to have Nike. I'm more of a Nike fan, as you could tell. I like to invest in companies that I actually consume and like. Lululemon, great company, great earnings. Right now, they're just kind of hovering right near the past highs, around 416, but you can see 436 there. I think it's a hold long term. If you want to own it, cool. There is a gap to fill to the downside on Lululemon after their earnings, so just be careful. But again, if you love the company and you see a little bit of a pullback, then you'd probably buy more shares anyways. But they're absolutely profitable. They're doing great things. I just prefer Nike personally. Nothing against Lululemon. I think they're great. And Upstart. Is it Upstart? Yeah, last one. Upstart. Okay, Upstart. 294.23 is my breakout or the break level for the highs. Looking at the daily here, you can see it's just straight up going. And it's doing very well. The question is, do we get to 294? I would say 290 would be a good level to target that 295 level, possibly 300, but I'd wait for a little more as we're hugging the 100 and the 200. You could see that the 100-day crossed above the 50-day. That's usually a bearish trend, but you can see the 50 is starting to break above. So we'll go there. And uranium, I have to read a little more on uranium. I've seen that that's been going up. I believe that's what URA. But again, we saw this with lumber. So again, be careful with some commodities, especially some niche commodities like a uranium or a palladium or a platinum. I've seen, or lumber, I've seen that. Really the only commodity that's really, to me, that's really been kind of consistent has been crude. And crude, you know, you get information almost every week with the inventories and everything. You have OPEC. With uranium, again, nothing against uranium. If you want to invest in it, that's fine. I don't. But again, I've seen these kind of pushes before and the carpet gets pulled under you. So again, a nice breakout. I mean, nothing you could see. I remember when palladium was on fire and you could see the daily, let me see the max and the weekly. We have a lot more to go to 134.52. So I can't really say here and say that, oh, we don't have more upside. We possibly do. The highs were in 2011. But if you're looking to hold long term, I'm for it. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea to own some uranium stocks if you want to own them. Yeah, UUU and all that stuff. I think that's like the new thing. Everyone's talking about uranium, and you can see it's absolutely on fire. DMN? Is it DMN? DNN. Dimension Mines Corporation. So they're a miner, but that's a penny stock. So if you're looking for uranium, I would think URA is probably your best bet because it's an ETF. You're better off just going from there. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Have a great rest of your day. GARCapitalFX.com is the website. And again, we're going to be better. We're going to be fine, and we're going to tough it out and be very tactical on our next move. But NASDAQ's starting to come down a little bit. So let's see if the bears come out. Maybe yesterday was a bull trap. This is why we did not get into calls yesterday or did anything yesterday. We have to be very, very, very tactful. And we'll keep doing that and be very careful. Last thing we want to do is add more risk when it's not needed. So again, be careful, be cognizant of that. I know it's a tough tape. You're not the only one struggling. If you're doing great, congratulations. If you're doing tough, you're not alone. We're here together. Let's rock and roll. GARCapitalFX.com. We're not going to hide when things are rough. We're here to help every single day. When times are good, When times are bad, we're here every day for you, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll catch you guys soon. Have a great rest of your day, guys.